You're listening to Parasearch Radio, news, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio. Parasearch Radio, broadcasting to the UK and beyond.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Good evening and welcome to the Paranormal Pop-Up Show. My name is Kerry Greenaway. It is Parasearch Radio's very first birthday. And tonight I have got a lot of mayhem going in the studio tonight. So before we even begin this, I will apologise for the swearing. We're all a little drunk. So first of all, I'd like to introduce my very first person to the show. That's Paul Rook. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. Now, because
I'm not drunk though. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, but you're wearing a ball hat.
Oh dear, Mark's here too. Clearly. Good evening, Mark.
Yeah.
Good evening, dear viewers. How the very devil are you? I will say I'm not drunk. I do have wine, but I'm not drunk.
The alien himself is in the house.
Shh.
We also have Kaz. Kaz Rooney is in the house. Good evening, Kaz.
Good evening, Kerry.
Now, Kaz missed last night's show because Kaz was actually out on the Raz last night. Forgot to tell me.
There's us trying to get hold of her.
It was my
I'm
sister's.
trying to get hold of Kaz for the show, and no, she's out on the beer.
It was my sister's 40th.
You didn't let us know. You just went, no, sod down, I'm going out on the piss.
She forgot, bless her. She thought she had.
I don't
and it was
blame
only
you,
when
to
I
be
frantically was messaging her about 5 minutes to that she went, oh no, I forgot to tell her.
Harry, don't do the accents!
That was terrible.
I'm sorry, I have to do the accents. We are also joined by one of our regulars on Parasearch, which is the beautiful, amazing Carl Hutchinson, our tech guy. Good evening, Carl.
Good evening. Hello, everybody, and I'm glad I'm joining the party.
And how's the JD going down?
I've just had a lovely drink poured by a beautiful friend of mine, Emma. So we're sat here, and I've got JD just been poured, so I'm happy as a pig in shit, basically.
And good evening to Emma as well. She's in the background as well. And we also have my beautiful co-host on the Spirit Dimension, Claire Hinks. Good evening, Claire.
What?
Hello.
I've had a few too many already.
Hello, man.
I have my wine. Cheers. Happy birthday.
Right, well, she was going to introduce you as Clark Kent, you know.
Yeah, Mark is the uncontrollable one of the station.
Excuse me, you're the lush, so, you know, hey.
So,
Thanks
Paul.
for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome, Claire. So, Paul.
Yep.
I'm taking you back a whole year.
Really? Cool. Let's go time travelling. I love that.
Let's go time travelling back a year. I want to take you back to the very first show. Our very official birthday is actually on the 18th of October, but tonight was the only slot we had free. And it's a Saturday, and Saturday nights are party nights. So
Absolutely.
I want to take you back to that very, very first show, that launch show that you did. How was you feeling on that night when you launched the station?
It was an absolute buzz, to be honest. Richard Clements put the radio station together, and because I've been used to doing the shows before with a previous radio, he said that it's only fair that I get to launch Parasearch. So it was just a buzz all round, to be fair.
And what did you talk about?
We was talking about what we wanted for Parasearch, where it was going to go, what sort of shows we were going to be doing. It was all about getting the station out there initially, so we knew what shows were going to be up. And I think we had like a pretty full week straight away, really. You
did. It was we've had shows pretty much every night since we began, haven't we?
Yeah, it's been awesome. It really has.
It's been an
the thing that gets me, I've got a button. The thing that gets me about Paul and you when you get together and do a show is Kerry's the one with the alcohol and Paul's the one wearing the Borat and the nipple clamps, and that kind of disturbs me.
I must remember to turn my camera off in future.
Yeah. I mean, our secrets are becoming too far out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, we have been running for a whole year. We have covered some, oh my God, amazing topics and some amazing guests. We've had some fantastic guests on so far. We
have. I think my favourite out of every show that's ever been done is
Be careful, Paul.
Ashley Mortimer is David Farrant.
Now, that was a show that we was all a little, behind the scenes, guys, we was all a little worried about.
No,
that
you
show.
was. I wasn't. I knew it's going to go absolutely fine.
Well, we wasn't quite sure behind the scenes. Paul had set this up, and then the rest of the team was sitting there going, this could go badly wrong. This could go so badly wrong. Control it, Paul. Make sure it's okay and make sure that they don't get too disrespectful with each other. But both of them were absolutely fantastic, weren't they?
They were. They were both really brilliant guests, and it was almost like they're complimenting each other and just banding ideas about and stuff. I really didn't have to say or do too much in that show.
That's your favourite kind of show.
It was the best show. It was really good, and it was even better knowing the fact that you was like all worried about it.
I was crapping it, and the laugh of it is in that show. I was in the beginning of that show, believe it or not, but my son was sick halfway through that show, so I had to drop out of that show. I was like, no. So I had to drop out. I was like, oh my God. Now, Mark.
Yeah.
We started the Dark Mirror show together, didn't we?
We did, and you were pooing yourself when you did it on our first show because you were not used to dealing with a person like me, were you?
No, before I started on Parasearch, I was used to a very formatted, fun but formatted kind of show, and I like to do my research, as you all know. And Mark is a little bit off the scale sometimes. I always say that he's a bit like grappling with a bear, is our Mark Manley.
Oh, you wish.
No, it is, Mark. Try doing it from the other side, I swear to God. And the aliens thing. Oh, my God. Every show. Every single show.
Yeah, I find a link. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. The only reason I'm loud and everything is because, A, it's me. B, I'm used to doing martial arts seminars in front of like 500, 600, 700 people, and you have to make it laughy, jokey. And we agreed that our show was going to be unique in the fact that it wasn't going to be a boring paranormal show. It was going to have a lot of facts and a lot of fun. And you and I would bounce off each other like a couple of old maids anyway, so it's quite cool.
Yeah, we do bounce off each other, don't we, baby?
Oh! I turned around really hard when you said that and I accidentally keyed the table with my nipples. You've got to stop that, Kerry.
No, that is how we started the Dark Mirror show. We wanted it Friday night, we wanted a bit of fun. And but from my perspective, I also wanted a lot of fact in there. And I think we've achieved that.
We seem to have a bit of a, especially on the Twitter, we've got our followers, and everybody likes the show. People want us to do the T-shirts, and when we spoke before about possibly changing the format of the show, people were going, "No, don't. It works." So yeah, I'm happy.
We've had a little bit of a little like friend joining us on a Friday, who's going to be launching a very own show very soon, and that's our
Yes,
lovely
she
Kaz
is.
Rooney.
Yes. It's called the Wee Tiny Sporran Badger Handbag Show.
Kaz, tell us what your show is going to be called, because that's coming very soon.
It's going to be called the Spectral Zone.
I have to write this down because I've ordered several different versions of this because I could never remember which version we were going with. It's going to be and what are you going to do with your show, Kaz? That's going to be on a Thursday evening. What are you actually going to do with your show, Kaz?
I have a few people that I want to speak to and interview. The first one that I want to do is actually an investigation group in the USA called Heartland Paranormal. Mm-hmm. So I've been talking to the team leader of that for quite a bit. I'd like to actually interview them first. I think that's the first thing. But I think really the Spectral Zone, it covers all manner of things, doesn't it? So
you can
do
cover
anything.
whatever you want. It's your show,
Yeah.
babes.
Yeah, basically.
You do what you want to do on your show.
Oh.
No, don't tell her that, for God's sake.
As long as it's paranormal, the supernatural.
Just
now,
make
we
sure
also
to
have Carl Hutchinson with us. Now, he's been on quite a few shows with us recently, and we've sort of seconded him away from Sam for the time being. But you're coming back soon, aren't you, Carl?
Yes, we haven't got a live date just yet, but we will be back out doing our show that we've been doing for the last 3 years. We've had a little bit of a break while Sam went off to do what she needed to do, and I've done what I needed to do. But I've not left the field. I'm still beavering away behind the scenes, doing equipment and doing what I do in the field. But I'm glad I am here tonight. I know it's a bit of a weird one because I'm sat in my friend's front room. And I said to her, yeah, I'll come round, but I have to be on a radio show. And she went, what? So she's wetting herself in the background, but it's all good.
Excuse me, I've still got this cold hanging around. Now, Carl, you've been on quite a few shows with us recently, and you help us with the tech side when we're dealing with the tech subject, don't you?
For my sins, yes. That's basically what I do in the field. I play around with the flashy lights, the buzzies, and look at things and take equipment and take it apart, put it back together, and look at the reasons behind what we can do and the beneficial parts of the equipment and the negative and the false positive results you get off equipment, yeah.
You sound very much like me, Carl, because I'm always trying to tell my missus I got very beneficial equipment.
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. But my equipment is very my equipment is up to date and being used around.
That's just getting better, doesn't it?
And they say I'm rude. Then they say I'm rude. I mean, come on, guys. Now, listen. We're going to do a show on Tuesday, aren't we, Carl? We're going to do EVPs on Tuesday.
Yes, we're going to look at what EVP actually means, the equipment you use to capture it, and potentially, is it evidence? And if not, what is behind these things you capture on digital recorders, tape, video, whatever?
Yes.
So yeah, it should be good. It should be a good one.
I've even downloaded some examples of alleged EVPs for us to have a listen to and see if we can hear what they say that we're supposed to be able to hear. So that should be a really great show on Tuesday. Now, Paul is currently... Where are you, Paul? Tell us where you are.
I'm in a caravan.
So he might come round to mine and we might have to do it together.
All right.
We're going to be like squashed in front of my mic going, okay, who's going to talk next?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
We'll have to see what happens. If not, we'll have to...
I dread to think what Paul is doing in the caravan.
Dog sitting. Now, the other person we've got here tonight is Claire Hinks. She's one of my co-hosts on a Sunday evening. Good evening, Claire.
Good evening, everybody.
So how has your radio experience been so far?
Oh, well, the first one was terrifying, but that wasn't your fault. That was just me.
Then you got the bug.
But since then, yeah, I have really got the bug, and I really enjoyed it. And I love that opportunity to talk to people, you know, that I wouldn't normally. And I just, love it. Got the bug.
I know, and
We've a
few shows coming up together, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Quite looking forward to it. We'll be good mates soon.
We are good mates, Claire. What are you talking about?
That's what you think.
I know, clearly. I missed something in the programme here.
Oh, no. Oops, I've done too much wine.
She'll have her own show soon.
I know. No, she will. She'll have her own show soon.
I reckon you two and Kaz should have your own wine tasting programme.
I don't believe there's enough wine in the UK for that.
You've heard of the Witch of the Beast. You could have the Luscious of Essex, you know.
Claire?
Yes?
What did you say?
I was just going to say, what do you think we are?
Clearly, he's got a fair idea of what we are.
If I base it on Kerry and Kaz, then hello.
Oh, my goodness.
I haven't drunk that much wine this evening. You know, I'm on my second glass. It's fine.
Second bottle. That's why we get on so well, Claire, because we have the same vibe with wine. Now, poor old Kaz is suffering from a hangover tonight, so she doesn't want to see alcohol for at least another month. Isn't that right, Kaz?
I've done it. Well.
Yeah, she made the mistake of going on to shots. The trick to shots is you have to find the right shot that suits your body. Right? We talk about energy vibrations and fitting your energy signatures, and this is the same with shots. I'd just like to point this out to everybody. And you have to work through them to make sure you find the one that
She was working through them, all of them.
It's taken a lot of years of research, this has. I would just like to point this out.
And practical lessons as well.
Carl has done it with tech. I've done it with alcohol.
I get the same kicks out of tech, but it's not as much fun.
Is it
Claire?
Is it like finding a crystal that works for you?
Exactly.
You have to find a shot that works for you.
Exactly. That's exactly
I think we should do a show like that.
We should try this. We should try this live on air one night, I feel.
We need to be in the same room for that show.
Well,
I reckon I should come along for that one.
No, we don't want any aliens in that room.
Jack Daniels and apple spice, you know.
Jack Daniels and apple sours go brilliantly together. Just pointing it out, guys.
Especially if you use single barrel, it works a little bit better than the normal Jack Daniels.
Even my dog agreed with that.
I heard.
I love me Jack Daniels.
Everybody loves a bit of JD, don't they, in this room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hands up, yeah.
See, it isn't just his Jack Daniels he likes. He actually liked mine as well.
Oh, no, I carried.
Honey Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
No.
You can't put your
Carl, our connoisseur of JD. What's your favourite
Winter
noise?
Jack.
No. Jack Daniels is Jack Daniels. You've got single barrel, you've got mature, you've got everything. But once you bring in the honey, too sweet.
What about Winter Jack?
Sorry?
What about Winter Jack?
Winter Jack, what with the cinnamon and everything? That's a good Christmas drink. Yeah.
It is.
But if you look recently, they've just brought out a new one, which is the Lynchburg range, where you can actually buy Lynchburg lemonade.
Oh. Yes, my daughter told me about that.
Yeah. I would go ahead with that and forget the honey. Honey, yeah.
Oh, I don't like the honey. It's too sweet.
Yeah, when you're drinking JD, you need to drink it properly.
Yeah. And I think that we should have a Christmas party for the Parasearch show, radio station.
A Paranormal birthday party. It's turned into an alcoholic one.
It has actually. You're right, Lindsay. Lindsay is in the background. She's very quiet every Friday night. Bless her. but she's also one of my best friends. So good evening, Lindsay.
Hi,
Hello, darling. We've got a whole range of people in the background, as much as we have in the studio tonight. And we've got people in the chat room too. And so I'd like to welcome our Kyla, Ashley Nib. That's your cousin, Claire.
It is. He's stalking you.
I know you're embarrassed by that.
Claire, I think Ashley is definitely stalking you.
He's stalking you, Carl. He's not stalking me.
Well, me and Ashley, we go back, and Ashley has a major problem, man crush, if I do say so. I can't help it. He's only human, but hey.
Yeah, but I kind of get that, because I have a little girl crush on you, Carl.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God! I didn't realise I was just tuned into Radio 2.
We also have Stephen Paul right in the chat room. We have got, oh my goodness, there's loads of people. James Steele, who's a regular in our chat room. Good evening, James. I so need to get you on a show, because you keep balking and saying, no, I don't want to do it, but I'm going. One day, that is my goal. One day in my second year of Parasearch, I'm going to get you on a show.
Dun, dun, dun.
Listen, that is a duff moment.
Okay.
So guys, right, of all the shows we've done in the last year, what is your favourite? We've heard from Paul. His was the Ashley Mortimer, David Farrant show. Kaz, what's been your favourite show so far?
I really enjoyed John Blackburn's interview. I enjoyed that one. That was interesting.
Yeah, that was good, that one.
It was good.
I enjoyed that one too. And actually, when I met him at Paraforce, it was great, because we met him at Paraforce not long after that show, didn't we, Paul?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And that was fascinating, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I done some experiments with him over the investigation in one of the barns as well. It was quite good, quite interesting, and I'm going to do the same experiment with Trident. I've just got to make it all up now.
Find our own anguish.
He's going to try and get the Doctor Who show in there as well, isn't he?
At some point, I'm sure the Doctor Who show is going to come.
Did we have a Doctor Who show?
Not yet, but we will do, I'm sure.
We will. We'll do the science behind Doctor Who.
We have got to do a pop-up show. That was one of the pop-up shows you wanted to do. We did a pop-up show on how to survive a horror movie, how to survive a zombie apocalypse, and we said we were going to do a pop-up show on how
the movies and the reality of the
movies
movies
translated into reality kind of thing.
Yeah, because we was looking at Prometheus, wasn't we?
We what? Well, you was. I've not seen it, so I'm going to have to watch that.
Well, yeah, that's on your list then. Do that before next weekend.
I also need to give a shout out. I'm being nagged. I also need to give a shout out to Stephanie Doyle. She's also a regular in our chat room. Good evening, Steph. And also my lovely goddaughter, who I have adopted as my goddaughter. She doesn't realise that, but I have. Is Taylor May. Good evening, Taylor. Good evening, Steph. So thank you for joining us. And Adam Hinks has just joined us in the chat room too. So thank you for joining us, Adam. Is that everybody? Have I covered everybody so far? Because I'm missing people left, right and centre.
They all help themselves to the sausage rolls, because I'm not going to take them home later.
I know. They're all eating out. They're all eating the buffet.
Where's the buffet? I didn't know there was a buffet.
There's a buffet. Did you not see the buffet? I've got like vol au vents and everything going on.
Paul's eating it.
It's next to the honey jack.
That's why he's missed it, because it's next to the JD.
Exactly.
So Kaz, so far, sorry, Carl. So far, Kaz, what has been your favourite show?
The John Blackburn one.
Oh yeah, I asked you, didn't I?
Yeah, we've done that one.
Mark, what's your favourite show?
Every single one we do, but my favourite was the one where Jay Lynch jumped in, because I love that guy. Hopefully we're doing a show together soon as well, but whenever he jumps on, oh my God, I'm sorry, the puppy has just walked past me and let rip a mighty Methuselah of a pop. Anyway.
That's what he thought about it.
Ooh,
Yeah, that was the show. We were supposed to be doing ghost ships that night, and I'd done copious amounts of research on that show. And our lovely Jay Lynch from America jumped in, and I stupidly accepted the Skype call and brought him into the show, and it sort of went Pete Tong from there, didn't it?
It did. It was Jay and myself talking about ghost farts and ghost poops, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, it kind of went that way. And there was me going, I'm trying to bring it back to ghost ships. Come on.
We're laughing a lot, and then you kind of fell off your chair and said, "So that I'm going to have the wine now." Yeah.
Kerry,
Yes.
what's your favourite show?
Oh, God. No, you can't do that. You can't turn it around on me.
Oh, yeah, I can, because I'm a co-host.
You guessed in there, girl.
Oh, my God. My favourite. Oh, I don't know.
He's so fishing
honestly
for her own
don't know.
show.
The problem is I heard that. I know, but I do so many. That's the problem. I do like 4 shows a week. So whatever I say, I'm going to get into trouble with somebody.
I'm scowling at the camera already.
But is there something, like an interest? You must have like an interest for you, you know, just out of your own curiosity, because it's amazing. What you do is amazing, and you talk to so many people, don't you? But there must be something that just, I don't know, sparks a little fire in you, or just makes you think, oh, that was really interesting.
Well, for me, I have to say, I mean, oh God, I just like talking to people. So for me, any show I do is interesting. I really love it when someone challenges me. Do you know what I mean? That's what I love, when I'm on a show and it's not easy. So I really love a show where I am challenged.
That's why you like working with me, isn't it?
In regards to...
Do you know what? You possibly shouldn't have confessed that right here now.
No, I know. But I like...
You're going to be
like,
challenged
when someone
on
challenges
Tuesday.
me. And one of the people that does that is actually Ashley Nips. We've actually become really, really good friends, and he challenges my brain and really gets the grey matter creaking, as it were. And he's actually pushed me further in regards to my crystal work, which I didn't expect him to do. So actually, of all the people I've met and all the interviews I've done and all the shows I've done, I would have to say one of the people that I really enjoy working with is actually Ashley. And I know that sounds a bit like girly fandom, but because he challenges me, and
he does challenge you. He does have a bit of a knack for making you push yourself, doesn't he?
Very much so. And that is, you know, one of the people I've interviewed, I suppose, that has really, of all the people that I've interviewed, because like I say, over the last year, I've interviewed a lot of people over the time. And I love talking to people about interests that I've had. Like, I love David Farron. He's absolutely awesome. Andy Mercer. I love working with Andy Mercer. He always challenges me too. You know, people like that challenge me.
Hello.
Yeah.
Talking of Andy Mercer, I've just added him into the call. Good evening, Andy.
I would say speak of the devil, but you don't believe in the devil.
I sound like it at the moment, I'll tell you. Still getting a rather heavy cold, so I sound a bit nasally, so excuse me.
Well, as long as you don't give my computer a virus, it's fine.
He's a bit poorly. Good evening, Andy.
Hello.
We're talking about favourite shows. So what's the favourite show you've done?
On here with Parasearch.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be some of the early shows, especially of you and Mark on Friday nights. The Dark Mirror stuff. It's probably not for the reasons, but that's some hilarious conversations, guys. That really have took the life out of me.
That's what everybody likes. Everybody likes that.
Absolutely. It's good laugh, a good Friday night fun. That should be. That's great. I think probably serious conversations for a moment. It's probably the interview I was involved in, I have to say, that Kerry and I did with... my brain, I've gone blank.
But
the guy who talked about...
live now, but also live in the States.
What, Carl?
Thank you. That wasn't very quiet at all.
What?
You're live to the nation.
Oh, sorry. My friend was just asking where's the show based from, and I was like, I think I said Essex.
It's everywhere.
Yes.
We're based
It's
everywhere.
Everybody's front room. Everybody, I'm in
Cyberspace.
Yorkshire.
Yeah, it's sort of in the ether, as it were. I think Kerry and my show we did with Keith McCluskey talking about Deal of Past was probably my favourite because it's fascinated me for years. And to get him on to talk about it, he's one of the real experts on the topic. I really enjoyed that. Yeah. For an individual show, probably that one, to be honest with you, that I was involved in. But otherwise, yeah, certainly the Friday night stuff is always good for a tickle.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? That show in particular has had 1,060 listeners to it.
Excellent.
That's how
Well done.
fascinating that story is. And if you've missed it, guys, I suggest you go back into the special interview shows and check that out, because Keith McCluskey, I'm desperately trying to get him back on, because he hasn't just looked at the Dyatlov Pass. He's looked at a couple of other cases that we really want to talk to him about, don't we, Andy?
Yes, there's a particular one, the Erin Moore Lighthouse mystery, where the 3 or 4, I think it is, lighthouse men just vanished off the face of the earth, completely mysterious circumstances.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
how, why. So yeah, he's hopefully going to come back and talk about that at some point. We're hoping later this year, but probably next year now. But it is a particularly fascinating topic.
Is that the one where the tables were laid and everything else?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's like
Yeah.
a land-based Mary Celeste almost, just disappeared.
That's right,
There
And
are theories
there
and ideas.
he researches. I mean, we talk about research and what we do for the shows, but this guy takes it to a completely different level, and it's absolutely fascinating. And that show, yeah, I agree. That was an amazing show. That one was.
It was a good evening, yeah, certainly. We could have carried on talking for hours. Unfortunately, we had to wrap it up after about 2, but it was good.
Yeah, we did. Now, Claire, you're pretty new to the old radio. What's been your favourite so far?
Should I be really honest?
Mm-hmm.
So I probably don't listen as much as I should.
Oh my God, she doesn't listen. Oh my God.
In my defence, I have 3 children and a really busy other life, and I always see, oh, Carrie's on the radio, I've got to listen, and I kind of try to catch it as often as I can, but it's really difficult. I find it really difficult. But the ones that I have listened to is obviously when you spoke with MJ before the Paracon. I found that really interesting listening to her, because there are things about her that she talks a lot about her background and stuff, and I found that quite interesting. And obviously the aftermath, and Carl, you were on that one, and that was really, I liked listening to that, because obviously we saw each other at the Paracon, but we didn't actually speak for the whole weekend.
That is true. Yes, we
and
did.
I feel a bit sad about that, really.
Why are you feeling sad about that?
That's the problem, though, with the para conventions, isn't it? So much is going on, and you talk to so many people, and I found this. It just was a bit like you get home and then you go, I know I had a really good conversation with that person. What team were they with? You know what I mean? Or
yeah,
or you missed somebody that you really wanted to speak to.
Yeah, and I did do that. I got home and then I started connecting people to who they were, and I did speak briefly to that person, but I didn't really know who they were. And then afterwards, oh yeah, they were with haunted whatever, residential hauntings or whatever it was. Yeah.
I think if you use haunted whatever, or paranormal whatever, you usually have. So.
Well, Ashley
got
has
about
said
90%
that
of
3
them.
children isn't an excuse.
Oh,
We
yeah,
have teenagers and
no
puppies.
idea. He thinks he knows it all.
Yeah, that's the problem with Ashley. He always brings that card out.
Good evening, Ashley. Welcome to the party.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, how's your hangover?
My hangover's fine, thanks. It's not.
Ashley, are you
that's
feeling a
not
little bit
excuse.
delicate?
I was feeling a little bit delicate earlier, yeah, a little bit. Thanks, Carl.
Did you have more than more than 2 pints?
I had a lot of points.
We were supposed to do research at some point last night, and Ashley went out and got drunk. There was a theme last night. A lot of people were going out and getting drunk. Now, Ashley, welcome to the party.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. So, what's your favourite show so far? Because you've been on quite a lot recently, haven't you?
I've been on a few times, yeah, and listened quite a bit every now and then when I can, in between my kids and everything else I have to do.
Oh my God, he's just used the kids' excuse, Claire.
You can't see.
Ironically, I think.
My tongue is sticking out. My V's are up.
What show? God, there's been so many. I like the way that you always start a show about something with a subject, but then it kind of goes off piece on a completely different, on a bit of a debate. Yeah, exactly. and we kind of just like go into the depths of all of our minds and talk about bits and pieces to do the paranormal. And that, to be fair, is probably most shows. So I can't pick a favourite when there's so many. When we have so many weird.
Oh, actually, stop sitting on the fence.
That's not sitting on the fence.
You know what? You actually become politicians, I tell you.
Oh my goodness.
Oh dear, I'm sorry, but I listen to some of the shows and I like all of them, but I have to say my favourite is the one that Kerry and I do, purely because of the banter, and when we get the guests come on, we've had all the guests say afterwards, it's like being at home and having a beer with the lads, and it's such a good laugh. So that's what I like about it. And also, it's good to see Kerry on the camera, because what you guys don't see is when Kerry gets drunk, she falls off the chair a lot, and it's really, really good fun.
See, on a Friday, when there's literally just the two of us in the studio, we go on camera. And normally I don't, because if there's more than two people on the stream, it gets a bit confusing. So I'm like on camera on a Friday when it's just me and Mark. And what you don't see behind the scenes, as it were, is the things that happen behind the scenes. And that's why sometimes we just corpse and start laughing, because I can see what's going on in Mark's house and he can see what's happening in my house.
I can remember our very first show. I have to admit, I did make Kerry completely go. She couldn't do the show for about 5 minutes, because I was rubbing my nipples at the camera just to make her.
Oh, God.
And that was it. She was off on one, and it's like, welcome to the show.
Trying to maintain professionalism throughout this has been very difficult at times, I will admit. So, Mark, what's your favourite show been? Because I haven't asked you yet.
You did.
I have. Oh, my God, how drunk am I?
When Jay took over. When Jay took over and we were talking about ghost farts.
Oh, that's right, yes. Anyway,
moving on.
Moving on. Have I asked everybody, is the question?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, what have we actually learned? We've been doing Parasearch for a whole year now. What have we actually learned about the paranormal and stuff?
Bring a wine list to your house.
I think you've learned that some people keep one away from a microphone.
When drunk. I would like to add that. When drunk. Because there was
No,
one
when
night,
drunk,
Paul.
When
Paul
drunk,
Rook.
don't Skype people and say, let's do a pop-up show.
Exactly. That's one thing I was going to say, is that's the one thing you should never do, is get really drunk, and then go, guys, let's do a pop-up show.
Oh, the amount of times we've had, and we was like, no, Kerry, that's a bad idea. Well, fuck! First, anyway, like, Chris, we sat fucking, and who's that? Oh, I hate men. Yeah.
I've kind of come off that wagon now, though. I'm back into liking men now.
I know, Michael, we know.
Oh, I've met some amazing men that have not been horrible people over the time of Parasearch. So that's done me a great favour.
Well, I think personally, Parasearch Radio has. There are quite a few paranormal stations out there on the internet and on YouTube and this and the other. I've listened to a few of them, and to be absolutely honest, I do think. I'm biased anyway, but I think our radio station's the best because we enjoy what we do, we have a laugh, and we know what we're talking about. Throughout all the laughter and everything, we all know what we're talking about. But when you listen to a lot of other shows and on a lot of other stations that won't be mentioned, they're boring as hell. So, yeah.
Well, not all are boring.
No, I agree with that, Carl. Not all are boring. So,
Just putting that
that's
out
a sweeping
No,
statement.
I was just thinking of a couple in particular, you know.
Bearing in mind, we
don't
all
get me
work
started
on
on
some
that.
level on other stations.
Yeah, I won't get involved in that conversation.
Or will I?
Neither will I.
And I have to say, maybe I'm sheltered. Like I've never before I met you, Kerry. I've never really even, although I'm a medium and I'm obviously interested in the paranormal field and everything. I've never really taken any notice of what I've got under my nose, like Parasearch Radio. So for me, it's kind of opened a whole new world, and I'm sharing it with everybody that I know. So it just goes to show, doesn't it? As soon as you reach somebody, you reach 10. Maybe if you reach 10 other people, you always are spreading it.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Of course you can.
This is a question going to Claire.
Yeah.
Since you obviously you were one of the speakers at Sage Paracon, and obviously experienced the Sage tribe and the goings on that Ashley would probably tell you more about as well. What did you enjoy most about being a speaker?
Not the speaking. No, I'm joking. Kind of. I enjoyed the opportunity, actually. I enjoyed the opportunity to meet the people that I met, like Jeff and, all the other speakers, because without doing that, without MJ inviting me to do that, I never would have had that opportunity. And I am down in the depths of Cornwall, and we don't get opportunities like that very often. Do you know what I mean? And so, no, we don't. Like, I just, I'm under a rock. Seriously,
You're in Cornwall.
under a rock.
I'm from Somerset.
Are you?
Yeah, and I did the Jamaica Inn, and I know you did the Jamaica Inn.
Oh yeah, I did. I was the medium there for about a minute.
No, and we're going to be doing that next year.
We are,
Yes.
are we? We are.
Yes.
No, me and Claire are going to be doing that next year.
Oh, no, I'm coming.
No, you're not.
I'm coming as well.
Is Ashley still on?
Yeah,
I'm
Ashley's
still
with
here.
us.
I'm hiding in the background.
Ashley, I'm just going to... I'm sorry to just take
He's
over.
taking over
but-
my show again. Oh, my God.
Sorry.
It's okay,
sorry.
Carl. You carry on.
Mutiny on the Parasearch
a
Bounty.
presenter, always a presenter. I just want to ask Ashley. Obviously, Ashley's the person that I have major respect for because of what he does in the field and puts out his blog and everything like that. And I'm not going to blow smoke up his arse because he'll enjoy that too much.
Your train is ringing out, mate.
We did enough of that before we came on air. So just, wrap it up. Come on. Question, Carl.
All right. But what I was going to say was actually from his point of view, being somebody in the field that has probably one of the most sceptical minds and disbelieving point of view that I've ever met in the field.
I
Put on a
think
good
Andy
note.
could beat him on that one.
Okay, until you sat in a hotel lounge at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, or even a car park at 6 o'clock in the morning, I will experience that with Andy. But with Ashley, I just want to know what Ashley feels about how in the last year how his mind has changed about the field and what he's sort of brought out of the last year.
That's actually a very good question.
Yeah,
That's a very good question, actually. I'm going to have to feel for a bit whilst I think about an answer. To be fair, it's not just been the last year, but a lot of it has kind of developed since, not just since last year from Sage Paracon, but also back to 2014 when we first all met at a Paracon. When people came together. Yes, in Derby. And when you start to meet people and talk about the same subjects outside of an investigation and sort of forum or across the social media, and you start to do what I call like the old school coming together of minds, like they used to do back in like the 1800s in coffee houses and things like that, which I kind of like quite a bit. That when you then begin to see lots and lots of different angles and approaches and ideas, and not just from people that have been in the field for years and years and years and years, but people that have literally just walked into it. you get ideas and understanding from people who are more spiritual and probably been in your life your whole life, like your cousin, for example, who lives in deepest, darkest Cornwall. And then you talk to people like, yes, you. And then you talk to people like Kerry, and you find out that you shouldn't just dismiss rocks or crystals or anything like that because they can play a part.
Too goddamn right.
No. I said you shouldn't. God, jeez.
I think we all need to meet. We need to have a Christmas party, and we all need to meet up.
This is probably a good idea, actually. And then you meet other people as well that also teach you a little bit about intuition and gut feelings and things like that as well, which I've actually done something to do with today. And you begin to understand that the paranormal isn't just about understanding the science side of things and how things work or how a gadget works or anything like that. There's a lot of amalgamation between the science and the spiritual and us learning as individuals as well. And that's kind of what I've picked up, probably more so in faster pace since the first Paracon that I went to back in 2014. And the more that I meet with people and meet new people and talk with new people, I think that gathers more and more pace for me and probably others as well. That field changes.
Isn't he lovely?
Lovely. Andy, you're in the background there.
Bring him in.
Yeah.
You approach things from a very different perspective as well, don't you? I mean, that's the one thing I've noticed is that there is this huge melting pot of various opinions and viewpoints, and you approach it from an incredibly different viewpoint because you are a para. No, you're not a para at all. You're a psychotherapist, and you see. Sorry.
I'm a parrot.
You're a parrot
therapist.
You're not a parrot. You're a psychotherapist, and you see things from a very different perspective sometimes from the way like normal people see things. I didn't phrase that right at all, did I?
Yes, I look for the psychological. In a nutshell.
I enjoy working with you.
Oh, thank you. I try to look at things from a psychological point of view. I've excuse me, as I've said numerous times, for me, I'm interested in the interaction of all this. What is it we think we're working with? What can we determine for the nature of reality based on these experiences? Do they tell us anything in particular? What do we learn from the experience itself, rather than looking at particular theories that might exist and see how we apply that theory to this experience? And I've said many times, for me, it's just, I know there's something to this stuff, but as soon as you think you've got a coherent working theory, and I think Ashley probably knows this too, things come along and just sort of throw that theory out of the water. And you have to think, oh, here we go again, what the hell's going on? So I try to keep it focused on what I'm actually experiencing directly. What is it we're actually seeing? What are we actually hearing? And let's not, deduce too much from it until we have to determine what we're experiencing. But I'm also fascinated in how people experience these things, how their interaction with these things affects the environment and atmosphere of an investigation. There's no doubt about it. People with the right mindset together, things happen. Now, you could argue that it is purely psychological, or you could argue that we're just observing because you've experienced stuff and know how to observe. Or there's the middle position where these things wouldn't happen without us, but we are not the source of these experiences. We play our part in them, but we're not the cause of them. And nothing happens independently of us, but nothing happens just because of us. Kind of a third position, which I've often talked about, the difference between the subject and the object in terms of experiences. So I try to sort of plough that kind of middle ground, which is a difficult one to work with. People often find a strange kind of combination. Well, how can you talk about this kind of psychological stuff and then it's in the occult, which is probably even more out there, if you like, than the paranormal world. But again, it's a lot of the kind of people I've sort of worked with in that area will talk more about collectivity of consciousness and unconscious and working with that kind of group mind. There's actually a very good book coming out next year by a writer who goes into great detail about this, which I'm quite looking forward to getting hold of. And I forgot the name of the book and the writer because it's stinking cold, so my head's not very clear. But I was talking with a friend of mine just recently about it. It's talking about magical practice and the way in which you are creating the tulpas. You create these energy beings. The big difference you have with the occult world is, by and large, people in that know they're doing that. They're deliberately trying to create entities and energies that have a degree of independence but are not fully independent. Whereas in the ghost we tend to experience those sorts of things. And you can argue, is that the soul of a dead person who's not gone to heaven, or is it an energy that's been created by people having a belief system around what they're experiencing, or is it something that's in the environment that's presence, if you like, an energy? So I try to look at it from sort of every other possible angle and avoid as much what I would call a dogma as much as possible, and get away from standard belief systems, because much of it is still caught up in the Victorian age of spiritualism. And in many respects, we haven't moved on, which is a real shame. We need to try to develop our own understanding that is more rooted in the 21st century. And I don't mean technology, because it plays its part, but just an understanding that's rooted more in our understanding, things like quantum physics, etc., that does play an important part in our understanding of what we're experiencing. That the idea of the ghost out there, white sheet walking past you, is very old-fashioned. It really is in the realms of the sort of Victorian kind of spiritualist church experiences. That ghosts, whatever they are far more than that, or certainly not limited to that description.
Very much so. Now, Paul.
Yep.
You've been in the paranormal field for a long time. How many years have you been in the paranormal?
We're probably going back about 10, 12 years now.
So what have you learned?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, we've failed, guys. We've all failed.
No, seriously though. I started off watching, like so many other people, watching these TV shows, and I thought, you know what, I want to experience that for myself. So I set up a paranormal team, and as we went along, we learned about the different equipment that we could use, what they were actually used for, and then we sort of got into the mediumship side of it. So I got to learn about that. Then obviously I met you, and then I got into the crystal side of things. So I'm learning that from you. Everyone we meet, we're learning something new every day.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of experience, and had a lot of experiences with unknown things, but I'm still not willing to turn around and say, well, that's definitely a ghost. Just because I can't explain it doesn't mean to make it paranormal.
I have to say, Paul is my boss in Trident, and he has had lots of experiences with unknown things. But as I said to him, if he's going to buy those things off the internet from doctor websites, that's his problem. Everything gone down now.
Yeah. But it does come back to the important point Paul was just making there, is the question of what is a ghost? We often use this term, but are we in full agreement that it means the same to every one of us? It doesn't. There's no doubt about it. It's like you use the term God. Judeo-Christian society such as ours, you have a fairly clear idea of what we think we mean by God. But you go to somewhere like India or the further east, you're going to have a very different notion of God. But we're not. So you can have a conversation with a Hindu mystic about God. As a Christian, I'm not, but I'm saying if you were, and you could keep using the same God, but I can guarantee you the two people have got very different ideas of what God is. So that's an important point. We have an idea of what we think a ghost is, but do we agree universally it's the same idea, or do we have a very different idea when we compare each other's ideas?
Well, I'm not too quick to jump to the conclusion that things are paranormal. I've experienced things that I can't explain. But just because I can't explain them, if I was to get the evidence and say take it to Ashley might be able to explain it.
Oh God, cough it up, you too.
Sorry. We've all had this really bad cold over the last month, but one by one we've all succumbed to this, and we're still suffering. It's one of these colds that lingers, and we're still succumbing to this. So,
it's a computer virus.
Now is not the time for my headphones to mess up. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean that's something that I've learned, and it's just you do go out there and learn more and more stuff from other investigators. You learn more experiments, and you just go on down different paths.
No, I completely agree with that, Paul. The more I've done the radio and the more people I've spoken to, it has opened my mind. It has challenged my previous views. It has even challenged my unknown belief systems that I thought I didn't have, but found out that I had at some point set in. And it's actually changed how I investigate now. Do you find that too, guys?
One thing I would like to say.
I have.
Yeah.
No, Paul, shush. One thing I would like to say is
Says the
over the
alien
years.
boy.
Oi, less of the boy message. You know I'm a man. Anyway,
Where's the mute button?
over the years, because as you know, I lived in Somerset for 20 years, and I started off investigating down there, Bury, Pomeroy, Cornwall, Dorset, Devon, Somerset, this, that, and the other. And I've met a lot of people who claim they have gifts, claim they can do this, claim they can do that. But it's not since I got to know Kerry, and I will say the other Kerry as well, and there's a couple of other people who I can honestly say opened my eyes on mediumship and medium work. And I'm very glad they did. There's been two people who...
Just get on with that.
Shut your face. There's been two people... There's been two people since our son passed away. One is Kerry, and one is another young lady who works for Trident. And it's opened my eyes. It has really opened my eyes on the difference you can tell between Victorian charlatans and people who really do have the gift. And it's quite nice to see and know that my friends really have it.
See, I used to go out a lot with all these gadgets and stuff that you see all the ghost hunters with. But I've actually learned that sometimes it's better just to leave all them at home.
Yeah.
And use your own senses.
Yeah.
And
no,
I do enjoy doing that on the investigations, because I send out, when I go out on locations with the other team members, they go out and do all the public stuff, and then I'm left on my own to go and soak up the atmosphere and do my own ghost hunt or paranormal investigation. I think it's so much better.
Can I just jump in?
Of course.
Go for it.
I completely agree with everybody that's just said those amazing words, but being from my point of view, I think when you see on the TV, on these shows where they have the equipment and blah, 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 whatever, and I must admit, I've been on the shows.
It's
but
okay. It's something to be ashamed of, Carl.
You
can open up to us. We're just like having a little private party. You carry on.
Yeah, well, fair enough. But at the end of the day, I've been in the field just over 20 years, and I've been doing this actively for majority of those 20 years. But the equipment side, yes, you see them on TV. You see these things, and whether you're watching Ghost Adventurers or you're watching Ghost Hunters or any of the popular TV shows, the question I feel that most people fall into their trap about is they don't understand the equipment.
Yes.
They don't understand what they're bringing to it.
Mm-hmm.
And from my point of view, not being sensitive, not being psychic, or not being in tuned in that way, I have these questions I need answers. And if I can bring an experiment, equipment that brings into the field, which gives me some sort of answers to it. But when I say the equipment, I am, and Ashley will probably know this because we've had multiple conversations about, you need to know what you're using. You can't just see Zach Bagans running around with a mel meter or this, that, and the other, and you walk into the field and go, I'm a ghost hunter, I've got a black T-shirt and a baseball cap, blah, 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 blah. You've got to understand what it does.
It's so like that at times, isn't it?
It is. That's the problem with the field. That is one of the problems with the field at the moment is everybody, and I will put myself into that situation, is everybody experienced the field to a point by watching these shows, whether it's Most Haunted, and we won't get into that, or whether it's Ghost Adventurers and seeing Zach, Aaron and Nick, or the new shows or whatever. But you've got to realise these guys have been doing it before they got on TV.
Yes.
They have this passion. And they go out there, they're investigating these amazing locations, and they're trying to build a TV show.
Yes.
And these TV shows want ratings. So, yes, they basically go out and And that's why they have that famous statement on every single show: "This is for entertainment
purposes.
only."
Yeah.
But you've got to remember you've got people like Gary Galkin, you've got people like Bill Chappell, which I've luckily had conversations with. But the equipment they're bringing into the field is based around science. Whether it's down to EMF, or it's down to ultrasound, or it's down to the atmosphere around, and you're taking readings. And as Ashley says in his book, and many times, it's data.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, what is important.
That's Star Trek.
You got Star Trek and the Doors, but at the end of the day, that's not to be a TV show. So hey. But you've got to remember, if you go out there in the field and you haven't got a clue what bit of equipment you've got in your hand, and you're going, "Hey, I've got a ghost," nasty bollocks. You've got to understand. You've got to understand the false positives you get from equipment, and that's something that I talk about, and what I try and tell people about is, when you've got equipment, you've got to understand, first of all, what it does.
Yeah.
Second of all, what negative and false positive results you get from the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
But there's too many people with their black T-shirts, their black baseball caps, and their silver shiny cases that run out there and go, "I'm a paranormal investigator because I've seen Zach Bagans do it." And people just go, "Really?"
But there's two sides, Carl. There's two sides to the paranormal field. There's the ghost hunters that want to go out and have fun in a dark location, dressed in their blacks, playing with the gadgets. You know what I mean? Gadgets. Sorry, I'm paraphrasing. I've gone into paraphrasing. Essex
You're talking about a certain sexual practice that involves going out in cars, Kerry. Are you getting that confused?
That was the funniest night when we went out. We went to Hockley Woods. This is before, not the recent investigation we did there, but I did there. But we went to Hockley Woods and we pulled in. We got out. We were all blacked up. We're getting our shiny cases out. You know, feeling we're going ghost hunting. We're going to find some ghosties in this woods. And followed us in was this police wagon. And we pull into this car park, and there's like loads of other cars. Anyway, this police wagon literally pulls up, like screeches to a halt, doors fly open, police everywhere. We're getting our kit out, as you do, you know.
Right.
And I know it was one of those nights, and literally, it was like a scene out of a movie. And we're like stood there with our K2s and our voice recorders and me with my crystals, and it was like. They were like, "What are you doing here?" We're like, "We're going to go and see if we can find some ghosts, you know? We're going to."
But Kerry, you got to remember one thing.
What's that?
Talk to them guys, because they're there day in, day out.
No, I know, but this was like
because
a famous dogging site. They were like doing a raid on a dogging site. It was like so embarrassing.
I've been there. I've pulled into Pluckley Woods 10 minutes down the road from me. I've pulled into the famous car park where Top Gear have been and wherever have been and pizzas have been delivered. Yeah. And you go out there, you walk back and you left your car when there was no cars in. You walk back in and there's several steamed up
cars. Yeah.
Yeah, and you then talk to the police officers and they've got the experiences because they've been there when nobody's been there and witnessed and heard. They're the people you want to be talking to.
Yes, but
not
we
the
did.
dollars.
We do talk to them. They were like brilliant. Once they realised what we were doing, they were brilliant. And Paul, we talked to an ex-copper, didn't we, who wrote a book?
We did, yeah.
What's his name?
Andy Gilbert.
That's well done.
Yeah, Andy Gilbert.
A little round
so I learned the name. He put together it was a collaboration of all different paranormal stories from across so many police forces.
He did.
Yeah, and he's thinking about doing a sequel now as well.
I'm not surprised because you're right, Carl. You're dead right. It is those kind of people that you need to talk to
It's not the people that go, excuse me, but I've seen a ghost. It's the people that have come in who have stood on the sidelines, who have been in the background, witnessed these. Like, if you go to a pub, you don't want to talk to the locals because 9 times out of the 10, they're either going to do two things. They're either going to sing the Ghostbusters theme tune to you, ask where your proton packs are, etc., etc. But you talk to the people like the barmaids. You talk to the people such as the cleaners, and you talk to those people, and then everybody will poo-poo this field. Everybody will take the piss out of it. Sorry, I don't mean this way.
No,
but everybody will take the
marked as explicit.
Everybody will take the mickey out of this field. But everybody has a ghost story. I'm in a situation at work. I've been in this job now for just over a year and a half, and suddenly they've realised that my. Sorry, I didn't.
Sorry, you're probably going to get that whole way.
Not you, Carl. He's talking to the puppy.
That's all right. That's fine. These people at work have suddenly realised that I don't go out on the lash. I'm not out on this. I'm basically most of the time sat in dark, damp places. Thank you. I agree with you as well. But these people, everybody you talk to suddenly thinks, once you find out you're a ghost hunter, and they take the mickey and proton packs and blah 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 blah. Yeah. And if I had £1 for every time somebody sang the theme tune, either on an investigation or in day to day life, I'd be a very rich man.
Yeah,
but
same here.
People,
you'd be a rich man.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
Rich girl, either or.
Well.
You'd never get out of bed if you did that.
Exactly. But everybody you talk to has an experience, has something to talk about, this thing that happened to them. Those are the people you want to be talking to. Those are the people. And you go to places, famous places. You can go to Woodchester Mansions. You can go to Drakelow Tunnels. You can go all these, like Mary Close in Edinburgh. People, you want to be talking to the people that stand in the background, who are just watching what's going on, because they're the people that experience it on a day-to-day life, and they're the people you realise. And once you start talking to one, you talk to somebody, and you get a common link. Yeah. And then that common link, you can then look at it and go, "Hang on, this person over here 2 years ago, this person over there 4 years ago, experienced the same thing," and it's repeating over life.
I agree.
Repetitive,
and then you think, hang on, if they're all experienced that, if we can produce that in a control situation, then what is it?
Experiment. Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely, Ashley.
You've got an experiment all of a sudden.
Exactly. All of a sudden you have an experiment. Now, Kaz, you have been investigating a hell of a lot. You do multiple investigations, over a time. What's the best you've done?
Believe it or not, it's actually, I would have to say when I went to Pendle Hill. But
Pendle Hill.
I was only there for the one night. I didn't get long enough. So I do intend to go back.
We were talking about that, weren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Because we can go up there for a long weekend. And I just love it up there. I love the atmosphere up there. I love everything about it. And there's so many places you can go.
What's so special about it? What's the feeling when you get up into Pendle Hill? Because there's so many locations up in... Pendle Hill isn't one specific area, is it?
No. The thing is, it's really hard to explain. It's a completely different atmosphere up there. It's really difficult to try and explain it, actually. But when I was leaving, which actually talking to other people afterwards have said the same thing, when you're leaving, you actually feel really sad to be leaving. It's really strange. I felt really sad when I was leaving. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to go.
And Claire?
Hello.
Hello, baby. How have you investigated? Have you done loads of investigations, or are you just beginning on your journey with this?
I'd say I'm just beginning on my journey with this. Ashley knows the only investigations I've done, really, apart from what I did when I was at Jamaica Inn, I've been with him. So that's only a couple of times to Swanage, but was awesome. For me, it was a real light switch going on again. And what I did at Jamaica Inn and Bodmin Jail was sort of, just set me off on a whole different journey, really. And since then, that fell through. And I haven't really done anything since then. So probably for 12, 18 months, I haven't really done any investigating. But when obviously we were at the Paracon at Warwick, that's the first thing I've done for a while. But I so enjoyed it. And it did give me the bug. Yeah. And it has made me think, cool, if there's anything more local to me, then I would really like to get involved a bit more. And obviously listening to you guys talk all the time, like all of you on here on Parasearch Radio, you're always talking about the working in the field and all your gadgets. I'm like, what gadgets, what?
Yeah, I'm like that.
I have no gadgets. I just have, my mediumship tool. But I just, it is really interesting. It does really interest me, and I would like to get out there and do a bit more of it. But I'm following my journey. I'm on my path.
No, I agree with you, because when I started in the field, I started with crystals, as everybody knows, and it's led me down a path. Now, as everybody knows, I am absolutely crap with tech. This has borne out. This has borne out on a recent investigation I did. I had the kit. I worked the kit. I even messaged Ashley and said, "Look at the kit I've got. Whoa, this is great. Woohoo! I've got to work out how to use this kit now." And then I played with the kit, and it was great. At home, no problem. Got it down. You know what I mean? Got it down. And then I went Essex there, did you hear?
My God.
Oh, my God. I went Essex. Anyway, I got in the field and turned on the spirit box. Didn't work. Andy is like, "Do you know what you're doing?" I'm like, "I did at home. I don't know really what's wrong with the tech. So can you play with tech while I do a human pendulum thing?" So we're doing the human pendulum. And he goes, "Yeah, you put it on to FM rather than AM." I'm like, "Oh, rookie mistake." I know. I am so not gadget-minded when I'm in the field. The guests loved it. Can't deny. They actually enjoyed the evening. They enjoyed the trek that I took them on. 5-mile trek. Yes, middle of the night. And... tech baffles me, Claire. Completely baffles me.
Yeah, tech. Do you know, I can barely use Skype. I couldn't even hear you when I connected earlier. I'm here, but you can't hear me, and I can't hear you, but I'm here.
Now, get me working spiritually in the field. I'm the bomb. Do you know what I mean? I can do that shit, no problem. Oh, sorry.
Well, Karen, maybe you should listen to your gut.
I was going to say, for those of us that don't have the gift, or even the slightest inkling of a gift, I'm the tech guy. I do follow my gut, and my gut's always been right. But when it comes to anything else, I can only home in on my own father, and that's it. But Kerry has been teaching my missus how to do the tarot, because it's been discovered she's got a latent gift in there. So I'm quite jealous of you guys that have the gift and I don't. So, some of us who don't have it, we have to use the tech. But those of you that do have it, it's quite nice to see the ones that are real and the ones that aren't.
Can I just say that even though having the gift is great, the gift, I love how we all call it the gift. The gift. It's like a radio. I always think it's like a radio station because it depends on your frequency and whether you're tuned in or not. But to have some tech and actually see some physical evidence is awesome. Like from my point of view, when we were at Warwick, and there were people, are they called EMFs? The things that pick up the voices.
Yes. Yeah, EMFs. We've done a show on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, we have.
Just putting that out there.
Yeah, we
good
have
link,
done
good
that.
link, sorry.
But that was awesome to actually hear with my ears, like physical evidence. Oh God, that actually is somebody that it wasn't one of us, you know, because you hear it. Like I hear things, but I hear them in my head or I do hear them in my ears, and I can tell if someone has an accent or something like that. But to hear it, actually physically hear it, like I hear you, is completely different, and it's awesome.
Yeah, but Claire, that isn't EMF. That you were probably experiencing EVPs at Warwick.
Which is a show going out Tuesday, so tune in Tuesday about EVPs.
If you're recording it, it's EVP. If it's got flashing lights, it's EMF.
The thing that picks up the noise.
The thing that picks up the noise.
EVP.
Are we talking voices being picked up,
voices.
or are we talking like
voices?
EVP.
EVP. Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's what I mean. I just am a paranormal investigator virgin.
You are, bless you. However,
Yeah, but you've been to Sage
There's
now.
just too many
You're
jokes
not a
there.
virgin anymore, Claire.
I was going to say, there's no virgin about this.
Oh no.
No, trust me. What you've been on in investigation, either at Paraforce or Sage Paracon, you're not a virgin anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know, Trident, we're all virgin on the ridiculous.
Adam says, "Come on, Mum, keep up."
You should be in bed. Get to bed.
Yeah, get to bed, Adam. You are well up late. It's a Saturday night. It's 10:15. You should be in bed.
Can I ask Claire a quick question, please?
No.
I know I keep asking Claire this, but when you were there at Warwick Castle, an amazing location, I've walked it, I've been there, but I never investigated this year. But when you were hearing these voices back that you know in a controlled situation that were coming back through the digital recorder, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, why can't I actually hear that? Why do I need this to hear that?
Okay.
So the frequency we cannot hear.
Because I couldn't hear... Exactly, it's frequency, isn't it? It's like tuning into the radio, AM, FM, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I was thinking that was all pretty awesome because it was real, if you like. Whereas in my head, it's real, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Was anything you heard linked into what you were picking up as a medium?
No, not at that particular point, because that was when we were in the dungeon.
Okay.
And I didn't really pick up anything much down there because everybody, I guess we were all focused on what the EVP was picking up. And I wasn't really that focused, took my focus away from everything else.
But when you were focused and you were listening, was there anything that you can explain that linked into what you were picking up on?
Not in the dungeon.
No, I'm not talking about dungeon. Anywhere over that amazing weekend, or anything over wherever you've investigated. Is there anything?
So we were in the Kenilworth room. Well, I was based in the Kenilworth room with Robert Murch, and we had an instance in there where when MJ came in, we obviously were working with the Ouija boards in there, and she came in and she said, I wasn't aware of the history of that room or see, my brain is fried, too much wine. Who's the man that's associated with that room?
Alistair Crowley.
Alistair Crowley, thank you.
Oh, him.
Yeah, so I don't know anything about him. And MJ came to the room and she said, right, humour me. And she said, so she obviously has a lot of experience there. So she said to one of the people in our group, she whispered in her ear and she told her what Alistair Crowley was like. And then she put me right on the spot and she said, if you feel like he's here, if you feel like there's somebody here, describe what you think he's like. So I did. I described him. And the girl that she'd spoken to, he fell over. She was like, oh my God, that's exactly what she just said to me. You know, so that was amazing for me because it was perfect confirmation of what I was seeing and what I was feeling and hearing from Aleister Crowley was in fact Aleister Crowley from that point of view.
Mm.
So that was really good. But that was that's pretty
Here we go. Go on, Ashley. Give us the logical brains matter response.
Well, if there's already thought processes going on where one person's saying one thing about what might be there and what might not be there, then could we not quantify that back down to being more likely to be telepathic interaction rather than spiritual interaction?
But what happens if Claire didn't hear what MJ said?
Sorry?
Guys,
What happens if Claire didn't hear what MJ said?
On my children's lives, I didn't hear what MJ said.
Welcome to another debate in this household.
Oh my god.
Okay,
guys, I'd like to say, sorry, I've got to nip out for a second.
Okay.
One thing I'd like to ask Claire: Have you done Berry Pomeroy?
Have I done what?
Berry Pomeroy Castle.
No.
Do it. You'll thank me. Do it. It's in Cornwall, you daft bugger. You're down there.
Berry Pomeroy.
Berry Pomeroy Castle's in North Cornwall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you should do that.
And the EVP things, we had the same thing when I think Kerry was there. We went to.
I wasn't there.
Which woods was it? No, it was the other person. Who was the very loudmouth one apart from me?
That doesn't narrow the field
No,
down.
are you talking about Epping? When we went to Epping, we got Aleister Crowley through on the voice box.
No. When we went to Epping on the second time, we were warned there was a barefoot prisoner wandering about the woods on his own, weren't we?
Yeah.
We said, "I'll sod it," and did it anyway.
Yeah.
But no, yes, when we went up to the church there, Aleister Crowley came through. But there was one time, and there was a time when myself and Linz and Carly, and a couple of others were going through the woods.
I had
The thing is, I have a problem with this.
So
I have a problem with Aleister.
I had to inject here big time because if I had £1
Yeah.
for every normal group who claims to have likes of Aleister Crowley come through their investigation, I'd be a millionaire. Sorry, guys.
That was the point, Andy. When we was
Also,
at this particular church...
It could be lying to you.
Yes, I agree, because there's no link to Aleister Crowley at the church we were in. I have I have researched this church, and I can't find any link at all, and I have no explanation as to why that name...
Have you and your beard, Andy?
Terry, can I ask you a question then? Why have you since put a link between Aleister Crowley and this church?
Well, only because it came through it came through while we were investigating, so that's why I went away and then did further research. And there is no link. There is no reason why that name came through.
What came through?
Aleister Crowley.
What came through?
Somebody saying
clear as a bell. Aleister Crowley. We all went. Did that say what we thought it said? And everybody was like, Aleister Crowley. And it was like, there's no link. Even at that point, before we further
maybe he was
researched
talking about him and not actually saying it's my name.
No, to be fair...
Can I jump in?
Yes.
You guys have been.
So you got an EVP of someone saying, or something saying, a voice saying, Aleister Crowley.
Yes.
Okay, so what if, and this is a big if, what if someone's mind that was quite focused managed to flick to Aleister Crowley for some unknown reason and then project that onto the EVP? Which go on, Cole.
A certain person that's just been talking, that's just went, go for it, Cole, has experienced on an investigation due to an experiment that happened where you are basically trying to project your thoughts onto magnetic tape, EVP, whatever you want to call it, and you're thinking of a subject and it comes through on the EVP. Is that right, Ashley?
That's exactly right. If we can project...
Now, yes, I would agree with that, except the situation we were in at the time and where we were at the time, there was no link. There was literally nothing, no link to Aleister Crowley. I would agree with that point, except nobody was thinking Aleister Crowley at that particular point in time because there was no link to it.
Hang on a minute. Nobody was thinking Aleister Crowley?
Nobody.
but we don't have control over our entire thought processes all 100% of the time, let alone our unconscious mind.
Oh my God.
Maybe
However, Ashley Nib, we was in a situation where nobody was thinking that.
Yeah, but you don't have to. You got to think on another level that potentially these people that have gone out on the investigation that might have read something, might have been something that could have been at that particular moment thinking, "Oh, I wonder if Aleister Crowley was here."
No, I disagree with this point completely. Knowing the team I was with at the night, I am standing firm on this point.
Let Andy in.
If you are paranormal investigators, name one person who know of in the occult, black magic, dark, whatever. The first name they will always give you is Aleister Crowley.
You.
Bollocks.
Totally.
And what location would you associate, probably unconsciously, with the occult and black magic and all that kind of stuff?
To be fair, I'd say
Ursula
Kerry.
I'm sorry, I disagree with this point because I know the situation at the time. I also know the position we were at the time. I also know the church we were at the time, and then I know that nobody had jumped to that mind thought pattern in
Kerry.
the position. No, I'm sorry, I disagree with this. Mark, back me up on this. There is no way in the situation the team was in at that particular time. This was a telepathic interaction on that one.
However, no matter what the EVP is ever going to be, you could always apply that logic to it. So you might as well just discount EVPs altogether.
So if you had said Gerald Gardner, then I would accept that. If you had said, sorry, I'm so sorry, guys, but I totally disagree with this point.
Hang on. Go on, Andy.
Crowley is not the only person on the planet to be called Aleister Crowley. You're assuming it's the Aleister Crowley. It could have been somebody else called Aleister Crowley. It's entirely possible. There's more than one person.
I agree with. I agree someone being deceptive in that.
But you're talking about deliberate deception here. And then,
Kerry.
Claire.
Where were you?
We were in a church in Epping Forest.
Right, and does that church have any connection to the Aleister Crowley?
No.
Right, so the likelihood that anybody was thinking, "Ooh, I wonder if Aleister Crowley will pop through."
Whoa. Claire, can I just say something? But the people that were there with Kerry, was any of those people investigators, or were they all just Joe Public paying their money just to go on a ghost hunt?
No. Okay. The situation was, if you really want to get into this, guys, the situation was we'd come off the back of an investigation which had thrown the team. The previous investigation we'd done had been an intense situation at a different location, completely in Kent. And the situation was that? This was a situation where we went into what we thought was a bit of a fluff investigation in Epping Forest, and we had started off in a particular location which had nothing whatsoever to do with that particular scenario, and we were trying to rebond, and we went on to this location within Epping Forest, and what happened was we went into the church graveyard, the outsides of the church, and we were using tech, we used the spirit box, and this name came out clear as a bell. Nobody was thinking Aleister. Nobody was thinking in that particular regard. We were all trying to just work as a team again from coming off the back of a really bad situation. We had nothing to do with Aleister Crowley, and this name came out, and it literally threw the entire team.
The investigation you'd done previously, the one that I've heard the footage for, right? Did that have anything to do with Aleister Crowley?
Nope.
Oh.
Okay.
Anybody in the team ever researched or looked at that particular person?
At that particular point, no.
How do you know?
Really?
Because I knew the team.
Okay,
No,
fair
she's
enough.
psychic.
No, okay, yeah.
No. But did you check every gravestone in the entire churchyard?
No, we stuck to the pathway
Wait.
around the grave, around the church. We didn't
There
go
could have been-
off-piste, as it were. We stuck to the path that was around the church. We weren't looking for Aleister Crowley. We were looking for something completely different.
Because there could have been any kinds of triggers that could have kicked off that thought process that then gave that. This is just an option. I mean, this is a possibility amongst millions of possibilities that could answer the question why you got Aleister Crowley come through at that particular point in time.
That's why I love you, Ashley.
I
That's
agree
why I
with
love
you,
you.
and I completely understand where everybody's coming from. And believe you me, do you not think I have thought of this? There is nothing in that churchyard. There is nothing to link Aleister Crowley with that particular church. Nothing. Literally nada. I have researched this since that point.
What about the people that you were with? Is there anything that potentially could link the person or people with Aleister Crowley?
No.
Okay,
cool.
And I know that for a fact. Because from that point of investigation, we've been back to that investigation point and we have tried to recreate that. And nothing, no, there was nothing. And I've researched that location.
Have you considered the possibility that even if it was an actual ghost saying the name to you, that they might have been lying?
No, we have completely explored that. I completely agree with that.
You think the ghost might not be lying to you? Do you think it's possible it might have lied to you?
No, we totally agree. Totally agree with you on that one. I actually think that's exactly what happened. I think something was lying because also going on from that, we went to the outskirts of that, which I believe you came on with us since then.
Oh,
we went
that
back
place.
to that point.
Yeah.
Last time we did Epping, Andy, you was there. We went round, we went to the back, we went to that place, and nothing is linked with Aleister Crowley to that point. So yes, I too totally agree that something was lying to us at that point.
But time and time again, when you suggest anything dark or sinister, the first name that people come to people's minds is always Aleister bloody Crowley. It always is.
Yeah,
So as soon as this is potentially a dark place. Ooh, evil, Satan, bad man, evil man.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've heard that so many times on investigations. So potentially a darker side, because places I prefer, that name has come up so many times. It's like, oh, give it a rest.
Is it?
It's exactly. It's the whole thing about hashtag. It's a fucking demon.
Oh, that's the latest. Yeah, that's the latest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hashtag is it a demon? Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, in England, it is the point, isn't it? It's like if something bad or crazy or demonic comes through, it's Aleister Crowley. Not necessarily. I can't deny what everybody heard through the spirit box that night.
Yeah, absolutely. What you hear was what you hear.
Everybody heard that.
Potentially through any divination device that will give you answers, spirit box, boards, whatever. You have to then take that and process that in your own mind to basically work out what you heard. And sometimes, which me and Ashley have discussed, is what you hear at the particular moment in time when you're listening to, say, a spirit box. If you're recording, because I've been there and done this, and I was at the Galleries of Justice in Nottingham. Is it Nottingham?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was sat in courtroom 1, and I was sat in the hanging judge's chair, and we were talking, and we knew the story about the certain person that came through, blah blah blah, and everybody heard this voice through the spirit box. Everybody said that is that. There was 6 people there. They all said that particular name. But when you reviewed the footage, and listen to the recorder or the videotape or whatever was recording, it said something completely different. But at that particular moment, every single one person that was around that area said it was a certain name, but when you listen back, it was a different name. So
that's a
my
fair
view
point.
on my
It's
view on that
frequency.
is, if you're in a location where you are trying to get responses back, and this is what I would recommend to anybody, going back to me being Mr. Anal Retentive and Mr. Tech Geek, is yes, use a spirit box, but also use other devices to back up what you're hearing through that spirit box.
True.
Yeah, because
now,
if
we
you
had
get a
this
voice...
recently live on air. We did a spirit box session. Sorry, not a spirit box session. It was an app session with, oh gosh, Paul.
Oh, ITC.
I can't remember what his name is.
Oh gosh, I know him really well. Holloway.
Oh yeah. I know.
Brian Holloway.
Brian
Ghost
Holloway.
app.
We did a live app session, and I ended up using an older app than I thought I was using, and I thought I heard something, and on the playback of the show and whatnot. So I sent that to Andy, and he said he couldn't hear what I could hear. We didn't hear anything live on air. When I listened back, I could hear it. Then I sent it to other people to say, can you hear what I can hear? And Andy, you couldn't hear what I could hear, could you?
Not at all, no, sorry.
No, that's not a problem, which is why we didn't replay it, because I thought, well, that's obviously me hearing things where there aren't things there, if you know what I mean.
But coming back to what I was talking about before, the thing is you have the same problem with sight and hearing. We look for patterns. It's a natural inclination to see patterns.
Pareidolia,
Yeah. But we are psychologically geared very strongly to hear things and see things as by far the most common oral hallucination is people saying your name, and people often say investigations, oh, someone just called my name, I heard it. But it's by far the most common one, auditory hallucination, is someone hearing your name being said. And often it's just because it's a fragment of memory just flashes through your head. Your wife called your name, or your mum called your name. It's a very normal experience. But if you're in a room in the dark waiting for a ghost to contact you and you hear someone say your name, you don't think it's external to you. There's a very good chance it's just in your head.
Yep. Audio pareidolia is probably one of the biggest flaws in this field, where people will hear something through a spirit box or through some sort of other device, where that's why I would say, like, I go back to my point, is always record your spirit box sessions, or always record anything that's going on, because you can hear something. It's like the famous thing when you look at a cloud and you go, oh, it's a dog. Oh, it's this, that, and the other. It's visual pareidolia. Audio pareidolia is exactly the same thing. I have something that I prove this point to when I do talks. There is this recorded session which is about a minute and a half, and basically it's completely and utterly nonsense. But it's set in a certain way that after about 30 seconds, your mind will go, hang on, that's saying this word. And I've proved this. I have it. You play it, and it's just a load of mix-match of sounds, waves, or whatever. But people will hear the same word time and time again. And that is audio pareidolia. And you have to be very, very careful when you are reviewing footage off a one-access element, such as spirit box or such as anything else there. If you have multiple devices recording the same thing, multiple cameras, sound will sound differently. Mm-hmm. I don't want to sound like I'm some sort of tech geek or whatever, but it's fact that you have to be 100% sure that you have multiple areas recording when you're in an investigation.
Yeah.
To be able to be 100%. If 4 devices come back with the same name or the same sentence or the same subject from different areas, then there you've got something. But if you're going from what you physically heard at the time, but somebody else goes, well, yeah, you're right, I heard this, I heard that, but nothing else picked it up, then yeah.
True.
God, and everybody goes quiet.
No. You have a really, really good point. No, you have a really good point, and I take that point, and I still know what I experienced on the night.
The thing again, seriously, one of the things I often talk about is satisfy yourself. You're not going to convince anybody else of anything unless they're already willing to believe. In that case, you're not convincing because they already believe, and if they don't believe, nothing's going to convince people who don't believe. I often tell this classic story of my brother-in-law who totally doesn't believe any of this stuff. Now, I've got a piece of video footage which I've shown people before, which was recorded in the vaults in Edinburgh, and I've explained exactly the setup, and there is no logical explanation for the fact you can see the dark shadow of a figure go past in a room across the way. I've even had professional cameraman look at it and say, I don't quite understand what I'm looking at here because there's no source for the shadowing between the light and the wall. You know, it really is pretty good evidence. Again, as I say, I've only got my word for what happened that day. And I've said to him, you know me, you trust me, I'm not a liar. His only answer he would give me was, well, I wasn't there, so I don't know. And that was it. That was his stance. It didn't matter what I said to him, explaining exactly the layout of the place and where everybody was. He knows he believes, he knows he trusts me. But his only answer was, I wasn't there, I don't know. And it was the only way he could not have to accept he was looking at something he couldn't possibly explain. And that's the thing. People are of that mindset. It's very, very rare that you ever get anybody who actually changes their mind. Those of us who come into the paranormal world already have a level of belief in explore and expand upon that. Those outside who are not interested are never going to come into it. I mean, my wife recorded that piece of video footage and lots of people actually love it. She's like, yeah, it's weird. I couldn't get her to go to go something now if I tried. She's just not interested. Did a few when I was first getting involved in it, when I got back into it after university, and she was bored stupid. Even though she was with me witnessing strange things, it just didn't interest her. So, you know, that's one of the things. I think the idea that we can convince the world outside that we're going to somehow one day produce this amazing evidence that you cannot be denied, and the world's going to go, wow, yeah, you proved it. It's just not going to happen.
Absolutely. And I've been in exactly the same situation. I was in a certain location. I was being filmed. I was on my own. There was multiple cameras. There was multiple different recording devices around. And I reacted to something that I heard through the SB7, and that was probably the first time I've ever used an SB7, and I heard my full name.
Whoa.
On this investigation in a location in Kent. And it happened. I heard it. When they reviewed the footage, 4 out of the 6 cameras picked up on exactly what I said, what I heard, my name in full. The other 2 didn't pick up on it. And I would say to that is, if you've got those things happening at the same time, and you're hearing something that other devices pick up on video, which these were, and digital recorder, which picked up on it, is that proof? And that's what I put out there.
So what is proof?
That's the problem. That really is the problem.
That is a problem. You will never convince somebody who's a skeptic that there is proof of the paranormal.
Exactly.
You can basically, if you've got a skeptic who doesn't believe in it, and you go, this is a ghost in a bottle,
yeah,
they're always going to say, but I wasn't there. I wasn't there. And that is the major key.
Example of
People will only believe what they witness for their own eyes if they're there at that particular moment in time.
True, so it's down to personal experience, true?
Yep.
That belief for proof is a good example. We've been talking about it recently, the flat Earth. We are people out who genuinely believe the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
True, and I met 2 recently in as many weeks. I can't believe this.
It's not about levels of proof or evidence. It's belief systems. We're dealing with belief systems, and that's one thing that is, it's concrete. Once it's set, it's set. you can't move it. So
No, I disagree with that, Andy. I think if you're open-minded, I think you can change your point of view.
Depends on you. It does. Yeah.
What was that?
Some belief systems. Sorry, go on, Andy.
No, so the first line is key. Open-minded. But what does that actually mean? You know, what do you level of acceptance is open-minded? You know, what degree?
Absolutely.
So what is that going to mean? I'm sorry, Kerry, I don't agree. It just doesn't happen. I'm not to lie. No, very, very, very rarely does it happen.
There's open-minded.
I suppose that depends on omen. Oh my God, I'm on the omen. How open-minded people are with it all. Do you know what I mean? Because yes, if your mind is set, then you can't change that. But how many skeptics have we come across in the field, Paul, where they've then sort of like changed their mind when they've experienced something?
I don't think we should focus this just on skeptics either.
No, I mean, I have dealt with a few people that claim to be skeptics, gone on to investigations for a laugh, and then when things happen, they jump to conclusions where it's a ghost. Where then they obviously change their minds. But I still won't admit that that's a ghost.
No, I completely agree with what Paul just said there. Is you get to a situation in any investigation, whether you're doing public or you're doing private. If you've got when you look at public, you've got people that their only belief system is what they see on TV. Or you have people who think they hear their past lies being replayed to them or relatives coming back and talking to them. And they go on the investigations. I've been on numerous public investigations where you've got people that are there because they want to believe that their great-great-grandmother is going to come through and say, "Hi, it's great over here. We're cocktails on the beach and there's this, that and the other."
They just don't want to hear them say, "See you soon."
They don't want to hear anything else. Exactly. But you've also got to believe that when you go, I've done exactly the same, is you've got people that believe too much, where they will say, no matter what they hear, what they see, what happens, they're always going to jump to the conclusion it's paranormal.
Yeah.
What we do as people that go in, day out, and sit around in fucking dark, damp fucking locations, not being nasty, I've done that. I've done it over 20 years. I've sat in places on Friday, Saturday nights where I think, Jesus Christ, I wish I was sat in a pub having a beer, not sat in a bloody cellar of an abandoned house.
We've all done that.
Exactly. But you keep one thing that happens, any investigator out there, whether they're a believer, whether they're a skeptic, or whether they sitting on the fence with splinters up their arse, something will always drag them back into it because
That's
they have
very
that
true.
split-second moment where they think, hang on, my logical mind goes, I don't believe that, but I heard that. And they come back, and they come back. For me personally, when I started off in this field, I thought it was a load of people sitting in the dark scaring themselves.
Very true. Now, one person that has been part of the Parasearch journey, that has just joined the call, is the amazing Kerry Ann. Good evening, Kerry.
Good evening. Hello.
Hey, she's in the call. Whoop, whoop.
It's been a while. I've missed all your voices. How are you?
We're all good, thanks.
Hi, Kerry.
We're still scared to talk now.
Yeah, we're all a little bit like, oh God, Kerry Ann's in the house. I'm going to let you take the realm, and I'm going to just, be with you back in a minute.
I was listening to you guys chat, and I was really intrigued. And I agree with Carl. I think Carl was saying that when he first started investigated. He thought it was a group of people trying to scare themselves. And you know what? A little bit, I still think that is the case in some instances. But I believe the same.
Okay.
No, I'm still plays a huge part of it. Certainly, if you're the public investigations, people are trying to scare each other quite often, unfortunately, and sometimes quite successfully. I often relate a little story about a guy who was actually in the Paras, who was actually on leave and came with a couple of mates. And the banging of a door at Worcester Mansion, the guy screamed like a girl, turned around and went into a brick wall. I mean, he was actually a para, and he was actually serving para, and it scared the bejesus out of him. Just a door slamming. So yes, absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah, and also as well, I mean, we've spoken about it so many times, but I also feel like that has a massive impact as well on people's investigations. So the expectation, I think people are more susceptible to, like you said, the slamming of the door. People are quick to jump to it being paranormal and it not having that logical explanation because they've built themselves a run on adrenaline as well. So logic is out the window, and so is sense apparently. And all sorts is going on in their head, and then it just takes the slightest gust of wind or the light breeze to send them running. But it's fascinating, though, to watch these people that first investigate and how they respond to things that, quite frankly, when we are investigating, that we wouldn't pay much mind to. Yes. Of course, we've got to kind of acknowledge everything that's going on around us, but yeah, it is interesting to see.
Totally, Kerry. And one thing that I'd like to just say on that point, what you just said, is when I first started, this was at the time that the only reference point we had was TV, which was Most Haunted. Everybody loved Most Haunted. Okay, if you go back a little bit, you've got the Michael Aspel, the whole fake show, blah, 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 blah. But the only reference point when I first started was Most Haunted, and I'd be sat there on a Friday, Saturday night watching this flickery screen of a laptop looking at live cameras because I was interested, because I wanted to believe. But then I got into the field and then I realised it wasn't so much what you saw on TV. And I've seen it from both sides. I've seen it from the TV side. I've done the TV stuff, and I've done what I do, and I carry on doing what I believe. But you've got to believe you've got to have a belief system. You've got to believe in what you believe in. And when you get somebody that has a particular belief system, and they look at things, and and they suddenly go, hang on, you've just blown my mind on something, whether it's what they've seen, what they've felt, what they've done, or whatever they've done.
This scene from the 1991 Oliver Stone movie JFK.
What?
Okay, JFK. Thank you very much.
A page open by itself. Sorry, I was just scanning around as I'm listening.
Paranormal.
Oh my God! Did you hear that?
Was that paranormal? What the heck?
Was it Lone Gunman?
Kerry Ann, you're coming back soon, aren't you, baby?
I am. I've missed you all so much. I tell you what, I have so many new things coming into my life. One of it in particular, I've just become a full-time student again, which is amazing, but takes a little bit of adjusting to. So I kind of stepped back a little bit from paranormal, but it's in my blood. I miss it too much. So I'm coming back once a month. We're going to start with and see how we get on with my time management skills, but I'm sure I can.
It's going to be once a week before you know it. You know this.
But I messaged Andy. I was talking to Andy. He was like, "Are you back again?" I was like, "You know what? I've had so many comebacks."
Kerry, you're like the Rolling Stones.
Kerry,
so many comebacks.
Kerry, you didn't respond the first time I put it out. I thought, hello, what's she not talking to me? What have I done?
Do you know what? I got booted out of my paranormal profile, which I love. I missed it. And I'm like, I've got myself sorted. I'm back on my paranormal profile and I'm back interacting with everyone again. And I'm really looking forward to my new show. I am, like as always, looking for new, interesting and fantastic people to chat to about anything that's paranormal. In particular, I've been kind of trying to get my feelers out on the Robert doll. Now, we've done loads of shows about the Robert doll. have I have a big
Kerry, have you
fascination.
spoken to the actual owner?
Well, this is where I'm going with it. I'm hoping that I can, because
I can put you in touch with the owner if you want me to.
Are we? We're not talking Eugene. Are we talking about the lady? The lady.
Mm-hmm. The actual owner.
Eugene.
No, the
Oh.
female that owns it.
Female. Yes, please. If that's okay. Yeah, amazing.
We'll talk away from the radio, and I'll put you in touch with her. And that's an interesting conversation. I've had the conversation with her already, and that is a very interesting conversation you want to have.
Well,
See, that's just one of the fantastic opportunities that Parasearch has brought us.
Exactly. Anyway, guys, we are 5 minutes from a 2-hour show. We really need to start. I know. We need to start wrapping this up. I've got people messaging me saying, I thought this was an hour. And yes, it was supposed to be just an hour. So I do apologise. I've kept people a lot longer than anticipated. So, guys, in the studio, we have Kaz, we have Mark, we have Carl, we have Kerry, we have Andy, we have Claire, we have Paul, we have me. We've got another year ahead of us, guys.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay!
Do you know what? All these voices are appearing. They're like, I'm shocked every time. I'm like, who's that?
I know.
I didn't know Paul was on
You've got
call.
so much to catch up on. We have a whole year ahead of us, another year ahead of us.
Exciting year.
What's going? And Ashley, sorry, Ashley. Oh my God, too many people in this party. So what have we got coming up on Parasearch? We've got Kaz's new show. Kerry is coming back. We have got obviously the same old. Next week we have got the same shows as normal. Every night of the week we're going on. Oh my God, we've got so much going on, guys.
I know, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stay tuned is all I can say for Parasearch Radio. Next week, or this week even, Sunday evening, I have got the lovely Claire with me. We are interviewing Kat Wilson from Black Bear Beauties. On Monday, we have the Parasearch Radio UK Encore show with Brendan Shea. We're talking about saving paranormal or just historic locations, both abroad and in the UK. On Tuesday, we're doing EVPs with Ashley and Carl.
Yay!
On Wednesday, we have
I'll
got
be
the
tuning in. I might learn something.
Well, I think we'll all learn
I
something
very
on
much
that show.
Claire, you won't learn it.
On Wednesday, we've got the Haunted History Show, which we are looking at the Manson family.
Oh.
Ooh, that's a good one. And the Oman House, which is a fascinating topic. On Thursday, we're doing the KTPF Reload show at this moment in time, but it's soon going to be taken over by Kaz for the Spectral Zone. Kaz?
Yeah.
Oh, she's still there, still in the background, bless her. This is why she needs her own show, because she don't get a chance to talk otherwise. But KTPF, Andy, what have we got this week? Do we know yet?
Not a clue.
Yeah, okay. Something's happening on Thursday. On Friday, Kaz, Mark and myself, we're talking dragons.
You are?
Apparently so.
Sounds good.
The powers
Bring
that
on
be
the
have
mother-in-law jokes.
Yeah.
The powers that be have decreed this. On Saturday night, we're actually having a break. I'm partying. And on Sunday night, I've got Philip Permont back in the house talking about crystal gridding.
No, isn't
and
that
Kerry
Saturday?
Ann will be back very, very soon. I believe she launches on the 28th of October. Is that right?
Which is next Saturday.
Yes, which is next Saturday. So no one's taking a break next Saturday.
Nobody's taking a break next Saturday.
Yeah.
We're all tuning into Kerry Ann's show.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
And on that note, thank you so much for the Parasearch's first birthday party. It's been awesome as always. This is how it goes on a paranormal get-together. We go off on tangents and talk paranormal and all that sort of stuff. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Okay. That's sort of like they've sort of just want to carry on talking, I feel. Anyway, thank you ever so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Spreaker channel. And, keep an eye on our Facebook pages for all the shows that are up and coming. Spread the word, guys. Join in the conversations. And we will see you very, very soon. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m, Parasearch Radio. Good night. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. Good night.
Bye.
Night.
Good night.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.